Good morning. It's Sunday, July 12th, and Donald Trump commuted Roger Stone's sentence. But I don't want to talk about Trump today. I've given him too much attention over the past couple of weeks. It's time I spoke about something that's a little more interesting. So that's it for Trump today. Now I want to tell you the story of the most intelligent criminal of all time. His name was Frank William Abagnale, and he was born in 1948. And he carried out his criminal activities between the ages of 16 and 21. And he looked much older than he actually was, so he was able to get away with a lot of these things. So during this period of time, he forged his driver's license, and because he seemed to look 10 years older. Then he opened several bank accounts using different identities. And in order to remove suspicion while cashing his forged checks, he decided to become a pilot. He forged a pilot's license and an employee ID. Then he proceeded to cash $2.5 million worth of forged bank checks across 26 countries that he had flown to as a pilot. And after he stopped working as a pilot, he moved to Georgia, where he became a pediatrician. And that didn't last very long because he almost killed a baby and he quit. Well, after failing as a doctor, he decided to move on. He went to Louisiana and he became a lawyer claiming to have graduated from Harvard. He actually passed the bar in Louisiana because under Louisiana law, you could take the exam as many times as you want. It took him 3 tries to pass the bar exam, and he got his certificate that he could hang on his wall. Then his luck ran out, and he was arrested. And when he was arrested in 1969, 12 countries sought his extradition. That's how many places he had cashed phony checks and took, that $2.5 million that I mentioned before. All around the world. 12 countries are looking for this guy, and he's only 21 years old at that time. While he was in prison, he posed as an undercover inspector, and this allowed him to get special treatment while he was in prison. And then he was able to escape from prison, but unfortunately for him, he was rearrested. But I guess he became a model prisoner because eventually he was paroled. And he was paroled on the condition that he had to go work for the FBI. And he's still working for the FBI. So by my calculation, he's 72 years old now. And he probably loves his work. Who knows what he's doing there? They don't tell me that in this article, what he's doing for the FBI. But think about it. The guy is a criminal from the ages of 16 to 21. He does all these different things. He ends up working for the FBI. He's probably going to get a government pension, too. So think about what he did. He was a doctor without going to medical school. He was a lawyer without going to law school. He was a pilot with no training. So I would assume a guy's pretty intelligent if he could do those things and do them successfully without any training. Now, I don't understand how he was able to pull it off, but I can only assume that, as the article said, he was a highly intelligent criminal. Or else the general public is extremely gullible. So it's probably some combination of high intelligence and rampant stupidity running loose all over the world. But in any event, in the article, they're claiming that he's the most intelligent criminal in history. He's still alive. His name is Frank William Abagnale Jr., and they made a movie about him. It starred Leonardo DiCaprio. and he played the young Frank Abagnale. Christopher Walken played him as an old man, and Tom Hanks was in the movie too. Martin Sheen was also in that movie. And I'll bet you he got paid a bundle for the movie rights too. So now let me tell you the final chapter in this story. After I see this article and everything and I read through it, I want to see what the guy is really doing now. So I go on the internet and I'll tell you what they have him down as. And he's really a consultant and lecturer for the FBI Academy and Field Office. Plus, he runs his own company called Abagnale and Associates, a financial fraud consultancy company. So he's a consultant. And in my view, there are good consultants and there are bad consultants. With this guy's experience, I'm sure he's a good consultant. I also found out that his IQ is only 140. Now, 140 is pretty high, but it's not genius level. So what he had, in addition to being highly intelligent, he had the right disposition. So I don't think that he was the most intelligent criminal of all time, but he was probably one of the great con men of all time. And we'll leave it go at that. So if you look at his early years from 16 to 21 and consider what he did, his college education, his career turned out okay. He was able to get a decent job with the FBI and finally learn how to make some honest money, which makes this a kind of interesting story. So having said that, it's time for me to move on, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.